So today we're going to be talking about critical role of hair and scalp education. This is very important, guys, because if the people who are working on your hair are not properly equipped with the right knowledge, what's going to happen to your hair? We're going to be talking about that and more here at the Hair Wire. And welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Hair Wire, the place where you get hair smart. I'm your host, Sergio Cardona, alongside with Carrie, Jerry, Bisan, Lipsy, and our friend Brad Portier. Brad, how you guys are doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. I want to say thank you for having me back. And on Valentine's too, I see everybody's wearing red. I was going to wear red, but I thought, as a hairstylist,
Cliche.
black goes with everything. So even a black heart, I guess.
Hey, I'm always about black. So my car is black. Everything that I wear is almost black. So I'm with you, brother. Bisan, Carrie, how you guys are doing?
Great. Well, as Brad said, it is Love Day, and we're gonna talk about little bit before we start. We were talking with Brad about love in the hair, so maybe Brad will walk us through some of his love of the hair tips. I can't wait
Love
until I
is in
hear
the
that.
hair. Love is
I
in the
know.
hair.
Yeah, exactly. We're actually doing a little shout out, but we're actually doing a Love Boat cruise with the cast of the Love Boat coming
Yeah.
up. But but I thought since today is Valentine's Day, and really there's positive effects that kind of love has. If you saw me on last time, I talked about self care. So this is kind of with self care. So I call this segment "Love is in the Hair." So it's how
Yes.
love affects hair growth. So while the
Nice.
connection between love and hair growth might seem like an odd pairing, there's indeed intriguing links between emotional well being and physical health, which can
Yes.
indirectly impact hair growth. So, love, particularly when it's nurturing and supportive, can positively influence various aspects of our lives, including stress levels, self esteem, and overall health. Here's how love plays a role in promoting healthy hair growth. So, number one, it's the reduction in stress, love. So, whether it's romantic love, familial love, platonic love, it has been shown to reduce stress levels in individuals. When we feel loved and supported, our bodies release hormones like oxytocin, often referred to as the love hormone, which promotes feelings of relaxation and well being. Lower stress levels are associated with improved overall health, including better hair health. High levels of stress can contribute to hair loss or thinning by disrupting the natural growth cycle. And
Yep.
two, what it does as well, when you have love, especially on Valentine's Day like today, improves self esteem. So being in a loving and supportive relationship can boost self esteem and confidence. When we feel valued and appreciated by our loved ones, we are more likely to take better care of ourselves, including our hair. Positive self esteem can lead to healthier lifestyle choices, such as maintaining a balanced diet, exercising regularly, and practicing good hair care habits, all of which contribute to optimal hair growth. And we all want hair growth because obviously that's why
Oh
people are
yeah.
watching the hair wire, because they want to know how to have a healthy scalp and how to
Most
have,
definitely.
You know
you
what?
know,
I'm going to confirm everything you said too. So, as we all know, epigenetics is my favorite topic.
mhm.
I have a fun experiment I do with a lot of the kids when I talk about crystals and epigenetics, and with our kids too. In our house, it's a common practice. So, here's two activities I'm going to give you guys, and it's fun to do at home. Well, first off, with your plants, it is so critical that you give affirmations to your plants because it makes a huge difference. We had my kids take one plant, two of the same species of plants, and we put them in two different parts of the house, and we spoke kind words to one and negative words to another. And I tell you, it was a night and day difference on the growth of both the plants. We gave them the same amount of sunlight, same amount of water, same amount of nutrients, and a huge difference on the way the plants grew. Now, if you want something that's quick and evidential, and people are like, well, I'm not going to do the experiment, it's going to take too long. Here's one you could do overnight with your kids. It's my favorite one. Get 2 clear glasses or mason jars. You're going to put water in them. Preferably, if you have filtered water, put them in the water, in the glass. And on one glass, write negative words like you suck, I hate you, you're awful, you're ugly. On the other one, go in and put love, you're beautiful, you're happy, you're joyful, all the kind of affirmations. Again, put them in 2 separate rooms. Give them 2 different affirmations, one negative, one bad. And after 12 hours, go put it in the fridge or the freezer. And make sure it's a freezer where the door's not moving lots, where it's not going to get shifted. Next morning, go look at the water after it's been frozen. The one with all the positive affirmations will have perfectly fermented crystallization.
Wow.
The one that had 4 affirmations will look just broken. Sometimes it doesn't freeze all the way. It's cracked. It's imperfect. And so it's a really cool experiment, especially to do with kids and to confirm for yourself how powerful epigenetics is and words of affirmation are for healing, for the body, for the soul, and for everything around us. So yeah, sorry, I had to do that because it's scientifically proven.
Oh no, it's great because one of the funny things is I've actually done that. I have a jar in my fridge, a mason jar in my fridge with water. I put the word love on it, and it actually, to me, tasted sweeter.
Yeah.
if that's even possible. I haven't done the freezing part. I didn't do a negative word, but I did the positive word. And what we're talking about, my next point is like enhanced physical health. So love and emotional connection have been linked to various physical health benefits such as lower blood pressure, improved immune function, and better cardiovascular health. So when our bodies are in a good physical condition, it creates an environment conducive to healthy hair growth. Nutrient-rich blood flows to the scalp, nourishes the hair follicles, promoting strong and vibrant growth, which I think you guys can affirm. You're the better experts than kind of I am. And just my kind of 2 last points: stimulation of hormonal balance. So, and I know you guys know all about hormones. So love and intimacy can influence hormonal balance in the body. Hormones play a crucial role in regulating various bodily functions, including hair growth. For example, hormones like estrogen and testosterone are involved in maintaining the hair growth cycle. A balanced hormonal environment can support healthy hair growth, while hormonal imbalances contribute to hair loss and other hair-related issues. I think, Sergio, you did a podcast or a teaching on hormonal, I believe.
Yes.
That sort of thing. And then we'll talk about, promotion of overall well-being. So love and emotional connection contribute to our overall sense of well-being and happiness. When we feel content and fulfilled in our relationships, it positively impacts our mental and contentment and emotional health, which can in turn translate to improved physical health, including healthier hair. Happiness and contentment can reduce the likelihood of experiencing stress-related hair loss and promote a more robust hair growth cycle. And we all want to get into that growth cycle. Obviously, we have to have some falling out before we can get some new growth. But everybody watching every week, you'll get a great information of knowing all about the cycles of the hair and that sort of thing. So while love in itself may not directly cause hair growth, but I know from my clients, it seems when they're in love, their hair seems to grow faster. So,
there's some magic to
it. There is, and also too. I'm not really going to go into negative today, but the same sort of thing. If you have a lot of negative and stress, that's going to drop a lot of the hair growth cycle as well. So the positive emotional, psychological effects of love can create an emotional, conductive to healthy hair growth by nurturing loving relationships, practicing self-care, and maintaining overall well-being. Individuals can support not only their emotional health, but also promote their optimal hair health and growth. So do you guys believe that?
I sure do.
Yeah.
This is epigenetics, like 100% epigenetics. Dr. Bruce Lipton, he is the one that wrote The Biology of Belief. He also wrote a secondary book called The Honeymoon Effect. And full disclosure, it took me a long time to read. And it was one of those books like, well, I'm happily married. I don't need to read this book, blah, 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 blah. Finally, my friend's like, Carrie, read the book. So I, oh my God, it's one of my favorite books now. And it literally talks about what you're talking about, Brad, that, you know, and it's not about having the honeymoon effect and having a partner. It's about having and creating your own ions or your own endorphins, doing self-care, self-love, doing things that fill the soul. You always hear me talking about doing things that fuel your soul, those activities that, you know, you can be so depleted in the day, but then you do that little activity for 5-10 minutes, you're almost like recharged. I make jewelry when I'm tired and depressed and I need to get in my own head, or I go for a drive. I tell you, I make one piece of jewelry or I go for a little drive, I feel like I've refilled my cup. And it's that honeymoon effect. You're creating those positive, they're actually negatively charged ions scientifically, but they are creating positivity. And so it's so important to understand, just like Nadia is posting here, we all need to understand the importance of positive feedback in your life as it changes our chemistry in a positive way. And there's so much science to back it up, and it shows evidently through hair growth. It shows evidently through hair loss. And so it's very critical to understand self-love, self-care, that honeymoon effect, and feeding your soul to create positive hair growth and that energy to yourself. So yeah, sorry, I'm glad you talked about that.
Oh no, I think we're all on the same page.
It is not only epigenetic, also functional medicine. When you have a questionnaire when you are in a functional medicine practice or something like that, in the questionnaire they ask you, how do you rate love in your life? And it is important for your all well-being. If you rate the love in your life lower, without going into details, then the practitioner will know that he has to take, or she has to take care of that aspect of your life. Otherwise, any other modalities you're gonna imply on it is not gonna be as effective as if you practice self-love, as Carrie was saying.
Always self-love is, it's very important. If you do not love yourself, how can you love others? If you do not love yourself, how can you even go out the door? I mean, first of all, I have to say, a lot of people wake in the morning and they don't feel the cup of self-love. You know, they don't even uh, wash themselves. They don't bathe properly. They don't take care of their hair properly. They don't eat properly. They don't nurture in the most basic senses. So I'll say that it goes back a little bit into the psychology of self-love and respecting itself. If I do not respect myself, how can I expect others to respect me? Why the world doesn't love me? Well, because you don't love yourself. So you have to start loving yourself, have to respect yourself, and of course, because it takes respect to earn respect, respect yourself and others will respect you. And that way you will be able to see how the world around you changes. And because of those little things that you start making for yourself, you start feeling better. And because you start feeling better, many good things will follow as a consequence of that. But you have to go to the root of things. You have to love yourself. Without it, there's no way that we're going to be able to move forward in this world, basically.
So I just want to add one thing in a way that we have put it in perspective. We have a person can have a telogen effluvium episode because they lost a loved one.
True.
Right? So it just immediately a person will start shedding either acute telogen or chronic, depending on the grief or the amount of grief they're having. And Nadia is saying that it starts in childhood with trauma. Oh God, Nadia, you hit the spot. With with traumas we go through, and we may not value 100%. Traumas that it is my personal journey as well, that I started to feel and actually after my traumatic event that happened to me, I was diagnosed with PTSD. And at that point in time, I didn't only lose my hair, I had some condition called trichodynia, which is painful hair follicles. And it is like everything, like it is hurting, they're sore. And it's just because of the trauma or the consequences of the trauma that did to my nervous system. So love is very important, as all of us were saying, love ourselves first, then
Yeah.
then we can be in a loving society or community.
Well, now, when you mentioned a bit about trauma, and I want to, now that we were talking about, those painful memories, painful things that happens to our lives, most of them happen out of the blue, not because you want it, not because you made it, but things sometimes happen to us, and we do not control what's happening to us as many times. So what do I do with the trauma? First of all, I need to recognize that I have issues that I need to resolve. And in order to do that, you have to have a very deep and meaningful conversation with yourself. You got to talk yourself, I really need some help with my traumas. Something happened to me at some point that's the reason why I, do things some way or another, or the reason why I step away from people, the reason why I'm so energetic and interrupt people when they talk, being too obnoxious sometimes. So there's a reason for everything that we do in our lives. So tracing back those things in our lives is key. And I believe it is pivotal in many instances whenever we're dealing with different, even scalp and hair conditions. And I want to bring Nadia back in. Nadia, you're in this show, whether you like it or not. So, so one of the thing is, if people are experiencing hair loss and they might not understand why, but they're suffering from stress, then maybe it's some unattended, maybe some trauma that they forgot about it, or they decided to forget about. Because that's the thing about humans, we like to protect ourselves by kind of like erasing things from our minds, or like to bury them there deep enough so that it will not come back again. But the thing is that you're not going to move forward until you face those things, until you encounter yourself, until you hit right in front of it and be like, okay, this really happens to me, I need to take care of it. And once we start taking care of those things in our lives, definitely it opens a floodgate of blessings in your life, because you are able to move forward. Even your relationships in your life become better. The
Mhm.
relationships that you have, whether with your spouse, your parents, your kids, your neighbors, even the people who work around you, they can see the difference because you are self-improving. So I believe so much in self-improvement, and I believe that self-improvement, it's all about loving yourself. So if you love yourself, definitely you're going to be able to move around and spread some of that love around to everyone else.
Yeah, I love what Nadia just posted. How about those who help everyone but forget about them? It affects the
Ooh.
somatic part of the scalp. Absolutely 100% true. And you know what, you guys, if you guys want to dive deeper into this, like this we could talk about forever. We do have, if you haven't joined as a patron or as a professional on the Hairwire Summit, we do have professionals coming to talk about this very topic. Nadia talks about epigenetics. We have Kim Weil, who talks about self-awareness and self-reflection, and literally going in, like it's one of our bonus lectures that we have on the Hair Summit, where we talk about self-reflection and observing yourself and being observant. And it's a really awesome lecture. Go check them out. Nadia's, go check out Kim's. If you want to learn more about self-care, self-love, and especially for improving hair and scalp health, this is the platform for you. So go to thehairwire.com/summit, because you are going to definitely see the world from a different lens, especially when you start to understand yourself. And we have a patron version and we have a professionals version. And as professionals, the amount of time, and I see it every day, I coach a lot of trichologists, and the amount that I see that do not practice what they preach,
Yeah.
in turn reflects your business as well and who you are. And it's so important that you also practice the self-care that you're preaching, especially when it comes to evidential proof for better hair health and scalp health. And I want you guys to sink in, because it's astronomical the amount of people that I talk to in trichology that do not practice that self-care. And honestly, it breaks my heart. Cosmetologists, trichologists, all of you.
I mean, you look at it. If you go to conferences, the people with the worst hair are trichologists and hairstylists. I mean, they should be the other way around. Brad, you've been to a lot of conferences. I mean, you do conferences for a living. What do you think? Is it true that the people with the worst hair are the people who do the hair?
Yeah, it's commonly known, and I learned that early in my career, because that's a person everyone else always goes to in the salon, in the, that sort of thing. But one thing as well, kind of presenting ourselves, which is about self-care again too, is that if we're supposed to be the leaders in the industry of beauty, hair, then we should be the example of that, where most of us in this industry, and like you said, like going to conferences, going to things, whatever it might be, these people look like they've never seen a brush. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, really, and I think that's what it is too. It's kind of, there's so much going on, and my head has been going when everybody's been talking. But one kind of thing, we're kind of jumping off, and I'm loving Nadia. If we're not friends on Facebook, let's be friends on Facebook, because as you guys know, you've had me on before. We talk about self-care, we talk about that kind of stuff. But the other thing is boundaries too. So one thing that a lot of people do is they say it's okay when it's not. Like, say a client comes late and you say, oh, well, that's okay. No, what you should say is say thank you. You say thank you, and that person will never do it again, because you've acknowledged that they're wrong, right?
Yeah.
And as soon as you do that, that helps you, and that keeps you now in a state, because what are you going to do? Now you said it's already fine, so the whole time you're working on that client, you're thinking it's not fine, it's not fine, it's not fine. And then that's going to obviously affect how, the hair is, the mental is. But if you say to them, thank you, which they're not expecting, you accept it, where you're saying, oh, sorry, I'm late. Thank you. I'm acknowledging that what you're saying is true. So now you're off the hook. You're not going to think about it anymore. Or you say, it's one of those things that I think that people need to use that word a lot more, which they don't, which is thank you in acknowledgement to being wronged by. Or even just receiving a gift, then saying, some people say nothing. Why not say thank you? Because that's going to build up those emotions. I think, Basan, you want to say something?
I want to say something. You just said that something. It's not only respecting our boundaries, but also you said when we receive a gift, we don't say thank you. Sometimes when we receive a gift, we feel that we don't deserve that gift. And it's like, oh, no need to give me that gift. Oh, don't worry. And then we shy away from it. Why? Like the universe is giving you the gift, whatever it is, even if it's a small gesture, just accept it and receive it, and use it to build the love of the day for yourself. It is a blessing. That is correct. And sometimes we don't even allow ourselves to receive blessings because of it. Going back to the trauma, some people with the trauma and dealing with trauma, they feel less self, how do you say that, they don't deserve to be acknowledged by love and by gifts or something like that. So we just say, we shy away from it in a way. But then we're not doing any good.
No, exactly. And a lot of people that have been traumatized, they don't know they're traumatized. And like Sergio said, I think like it gets hidden away, or it's put, because your body does. If it's something that's so intense, because you're not able to deal with it, your body will lock it away in that filing cabinet. But that's what happens, like I just said. So traumatized could be, oh, that person's late. That could traumatize you. But because you say, oh, it's okay, you're letting the trauma sit, right? there and letting it happen rather than acknowledging it and let's like take care of it now. Wow, this topic's become explosive. And I
I
thought
know.
love is in the hair, but obviously it's something great that pertains to all of us. Because as I say, I deal with hair on a daily basis. You guys deal with hair on a daily basis. Everybody watching, but I think there's just so much more than just prescribing a shampoo that's gonna
Yes,
take care of all your,
100%.
Yeah.
your issues.
I'm going to go back to this post Nadia posted about they don't. The way to go is to go to the root of the hair loss. And as professionals, cosmetology, trichology, it's so important to not just with the self-love, but get to the root of the problem and find out what's happening. And you do often need somebody, an expert, to come in and help you navigate that for you, because it is not a one-size-fits-all world. In fact, there is more than one type of alopecia. And you go to the doctor, like, oh, you have alopecia. And then they're treating this one type of, from 100 different types of alopecia with a treatment that's not going to work for it because it's not that type of alopecia. So it's so important for you as a patron to educate yourself on the possibilities that are out there, or educate yourself to find the experts who know what they're talking about. There's cosmetologists that do their due diligence and look stuff up or point you in the right direction to a trichologist. There's cosmetologists that study trichology. And there's trichologists who are dedicated at their life to the study of hair and scalp sciences and who help you get to that. And we, as a trichologist, it's so important to really level up your education. I've been in trichology for quite a long time now, and it's changing on a regular basis. What I knew androgenetic alopecia, genetic hair loss, to be when I first started learning has leveled up immensely. And we're learning that there's a various amount of different genetic hair loss types and causes and reasons and solutions. So it's so important that you're educating yourself. So let's dive deeper into this, because, and the reason we brought this topic up today is because a situation last week we were talking in our last lecture about AI and not doing your research and getting formally educating yourself on what is out there. We have a colleague of ours, a respected member in the trichology industry, who has his face being used in AI right now promoting hair loss solutions. And it's not him, it's AI. And so as a patron, so me as a professional, especially with a background in marketing, I want to really drill in for you guys as a patron. When you're looking for an expert, make sure you check from the source first to make sure that it's accurate. Even if you see their face on it, go to their main website, go to their main profiles on LinkedIn, Facebook, their about page on their actual website, and make sure that what was shared in that commercial or that ad is actually that person speaking. Educate yourself. Go ask, go call, go to the primary resource of information and go do your due diligence. I also did an experiment with the AI. I went in AI and I asked it to write me a hair loss report on a specific topic. It was inaccurate. It's pulling information from all over the internet, and just because you found it on Google doesn't mean that it is right. It's pulling off everything, and oftentimes you hear things start become real because everybody keeps talking about it. Doesn't mean that it's always true. And so when I read this AI report that I pulled up, I, as a trichologist and a cosmetologist, had a lot of red flags come up and be like, this information's wrong. So I really want people, and I know when you have hair loss and scalp issues, you get desperate and you're looking for any information. But please, if you can, please go to an expert, do your research, do your due diligence, and make sure you're not just finding stuff where it's some place of somebody wanting to sell stuff. Yeah, Google is no way to do research at all. Nadia, thank you for backing that up. It's no way to do research. Yeah, I tell you, I could go down on Dr. Google myself and give symptoms that I have, and by the end of the day, I have a list of 100 ailments. So please.
Dr. Google is not a
Oh yeah, it's the
trichologist
same
either.
for hairstylists too. That they think that people that are on YouTube, have a license, and they don't. So it doesn't, just because you're on YouTube saying this is what products to use, this is what to, you know, you're not necessarily the expert. And that's why I'm glad you kind of brought this up, because a lot of people really don't know how to identify genuine experts and the people that are true in their field, as opposed to maybe somebody that has some experience but maybe only took a weekend course. And is that somebody you want working kind of on you?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have the right to, as a patron, to ask the background of the person who's doing hair. I have had people in my chair as a cosmetologist. Yes, I am a color master and I do color correction and I used to teach it. I expect my clients when they come in to do a high value service with me, especially something that's going to compromise their hair. I expect them to ask me my education.
Yep.
I expect that because you're coming to me for my expertise, my knowledge, my history, and I expect that as a trichologist. I go to my doctor when I'm going to get, like, if you're going to go get implants or surgery anywhere, I want to know where they trained. I want to know their history. I want to know what they've done. I want to know, because this is my body and I have the right to know.
And yeah, and going back to experts online also, it's not only, you know, that like you cannot just call any expert and follow their advice. I want to bring love into it again. If you don't have the connection with your expert, if you don't trust your expert, if you don't trust, you don't have a personalized approach to whatever the problem it is, it's not going to work out whatever the treatment it's going to be, because the treatment, you have to believe in it truly from inside you, and you have to be connected with the person who you're dealing with on a very good level, so you can, as we said, love is important. It's the chemical reactions that goes into our body. So no treatment on a very superficial level that you heard somewhere is going to work. No, it has to have this personal connection, and it has to have this personal love and trust to the other person, you know. So I think this is important. And I want to say
It
something
is.
also. Like, just because Nadia is online with us, I want to say that just because for the past 2 weeks I am talking personally with Nadia, it makes me feel so good about myself. And actually, it makes me feel more confident, and more confident of the information I have to present it out loud, you know, because I have this connection, this personal connection.
And those personal connections are the best, you know. And but at the same time, you have to be careful. Who do you
Mm.
trust? Because that's the thing about love. You know, I have to love myself enough to realize, you know, I need to check who is this person that is in front of me. And there's people who are very trusting, and that's great, you know, because they feel comfortable, and you know, there's someone who has a great personality. But you know, you have to look deeper than just a great personality. You have to be able to trust the person who is in front of you by merits. So, what are the merits of this person? You know, what are their qualifications? Is the information that they bring in resonating? You know,
Mhm.
is it truthful? So I mean, just like in every relationship, when you're trusting someone, you put like a couple mini tests. You know, you test people to see, you know, who they are, and you make questions. And because of how people respond to that, then you'll be like, okay, I feel like I'm gonna start trusting you, and you earn people's trust, and that's the key here. You know, people need to earn your trust. If they're not earning your trust, they're just fooling you. So love yourself enough, love yourself enough to set up some tramps, you know, in your gate, in your front yard, you know, to make sure that people are worthy of your trust. And if they're
Yes.
worthy of a trust, then go right ahead, do your thing, trust the people that you have in front of you, because you have vetted those people enough so that you understand that, you know, their trust, they have earned your trust, and so they can earn your money as well, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving my money away. I'm you know, people who I pay to, they earn it. I'm making sure that you earn it. Sure, I will pay. I'm gladly, and I will pay even extra for the service, for the trust, for the love, for everything that they do for me, because you know, they make me feel better about myself. So definitely, it's something that I would do. So for those of you around people, you need to stay connected here, the hair wire. You need to stay connected here, the hair wire. Today we have an amazing show. So stay
Sergio is
connected.
full of
Visit our
love today.
website. Full of love. I mean, you have to self-love yourself. You got to self-love, to give love. That's my motto today. Self-love to give love. Period. Visit thehairwire.com, thehairwire.com. And Nadia says, people that like you speaks to you, but people that trust you, they will give you their money. Interesting. Interesting. People that like you speaks to you, but people that trust you, they'll give you their money. Interesting.
Brad, what do you think about that?
Exactly, because people never buy a product or service. They always buy the person. So
Yeah.
what I
Yes.
mean is the connection with that person. If I know, like, love, and trust you, I'm going to invest in you because then there's an exchange there. When there's not that exchange, because you could say, here, buy the shampoo, it's good. That's a transaction. It's not an exchange. So people will only go for, and that's what people think. I have this great, and it doesn't matter what it is. I have this great academy. I have this great book. I have this great event. I have this great product. It's never what that is. Yes, it's somewhat about the benefits, but it's more, do they trust you? And do they love you that they know that you're investing in them as well? Yes, they're paying you money, but also you're providing them with something that they can't get anywhere else. Like Carrie could sell a shampoo, Sergio can sell a shampoo, Basan can sell a shampoo, I could sell a shampoo. It's all the same shampoo. We may have the same price point or different price point, but it's what that connection is behind that is what make people buy. People love to buy, they just don't like to be sold to. So because they don't like to be sold to, what they need then is something deeper. So they need to be sold, if that makes difference, SOUL, sold to. So instead of sold
Yep.
to, sold to.
Let me write this
So it's
down.
so
Let
it's
me
sold
write
to
this down.
sold.
What did you say? What did you say, Brad? Let me write this down.
Yeah. So instead of
Woo!
sold to, it's sold
Okay.
to. So soul, as in instead of SOLD,
Yes.
it's
Your
SOUL.
soul. Yes.
Sold, right? So
I like that.
and as you say, if you can indulge me, some of the stuff that you guys have been saying, it's resonating with me, and some of the points that yeah, so it's soul to soul. So yeah. So I'm sold. So it'd be SOULED or SOUL hyphen D, not D,
I see.
not hyphen. The little mark there, sort of thing. But there is an importance, and for some people know that I do events and things like that. But what we really want to know, and something to me that Carrie said, the same when we said about identifying genuine experts. So like with the rise of digital platforms, social media, anybody can present themselves as an expert. Believe me, I
Yes.
know.
I'm an
Yes.
expert in mechanics, you guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
regardless of
Yes. Yes.
their qualifications or their credibility. Thus, it becomes imperative to develop strategies for discerning genuine expertise amidst the noise. And now, more with social media, we have more and more than ever before. I'm going to go a couple of quick points. I'm not going to go deep and in depth, but I want you guys to kind of chime in maybe at the end. But the big things, and we said, like Sergio said, there's a gate there. So here's some goalposts that I have for people that if you're looking for somebody, an expert, this is kind of what you should go through and check into. So their credentials and expertise and experience, right? So you look at that, their peer recognition, consistency and depth of knowledge, transparency and integrity, a track record of accuracy, critical thinking and humility, and the last is knowledge. So I just went over those quickly rather than going in depth, but those are things that most people, once you get to the gate, couldn't even probably, even reach half of those.
I'm going to add one in there,
Yep.
especially because I see a lot of newbies in our industry and they are so talented. They know their stuff and they may not have the experience, but one thing they have, which I tell you is not very common, and the ones that legit are the ones that should be watched out for, especially when they're a newbie, passion.
Mm.
passion is such a key, and you could see that and you could feel it in their soul, and they may be new, they may not have a lot out there, but when they are passionate, they go above and beyond, they do the research, they're thirsty for knowledge, and if they don't know, they go seek, and those are the ones that succeed. So yes, if you're a newbie and you're going into trichology or cosmetology and you're like, well, how can I compete with all this experience? I'm sorry, passion succeeds expertise in many, many ways.
True.
And I will add, passion is not hype. Passion ain't hype. So people, there's a lot of hype people, and not a lot of passion. So watch out for that. Discern one from the other. They might look alike, but no, it's quite different. There's quite different. There's not such thing as passion. If people are just hyped up, no. Hype is one thing. Passion is another. Don't kill my hype, Sergio.
and exactly, passion is a great way to become an expert. You may not be one yet, but you take that passion point and you work your way back. Like Carrie said, do the research, do the homework, connect with people, connect with mentors, take the training that you need. Sergio has a course. Like, everybody has stuff that we do. A lot of the stuff that we're doing, we train people, like especially newbies, to be educators, or train people that are new just out of school, being able to, like learn the stuff. Because if nobody's calling you and you're an expert, I think there's something wrong. Like, I've been on Hairwire now. I never call myself an expert. Mine is more life experience, but but it's that sort of thing. But if you want to become an expert, rather than just saying, "Hey, I'm this, I'm a celebrity, I'm this, I'm that," like, get the passion, get in there, do the work. And that's a big thing. You have to do the work. And if you're not doing the work, because a lot of people think, I'm going to go in trichology because I'm going to make so much money. Because as soon as I open my doors, people are going to flood in. I'm going to have these clients for life. And, I'm going to sell them a whatever. You know what I mean?
Expensive shampoo.
Exactly. It's not like that. It's about creating a relationship.
Yeah.
First and foremost, because you have to make sure they're right for you, and vice versa. So they have to be right for you, and you have to be right for them. And that's why we have all our gifts and talents. And I know Carrie wants to chime in.
I was laughing because Nadia, she's like, that's what everyone thinks. It's so true. Everybody's like, oh, I'm going to go to school and it's going to be easy and I'm going to be bowling. No, not at all. It's about networking. And that's why education is so critical, whether you're a newbie, a veteran, or an expert. Education is key, and networking and getting to know your peers. And you're not going to learn 100% from just yourself by doing it. It's also learning and seeing what other people are doing. It's connection, it's community, it's sharing knowledge, and that's how you grow. And once you find your niche, you're going to grow exponentially, especially when you find your niche and you stand out for being you and knowing your specific niche as well. So it's definitely, and like Nadia said too, there's a lot of copycats out there. The best advice I could do for you guys in a marketing perspective is be you. Find your niche, be your authentic self, level up, focus on what you're passionate about. I'm passionate about epigenetics. Brad's passionate about connection and networking and bringing people together. And Bisan, she's passionate about wellness. Sergio is passionate about clinical and education and sharing and knowledge. And that's what makes everybody stand out from one another, is that we educate ourselves. We humble ourselves by knowing that we aren't experts. Even though we appear as experts, we're still always learning. And I learn from the new as much as I learn from the veterans.
Sergio for president. I love that. I want Sergio to be the president. I said that before.
Yeah, and what you said, Carrie, it goes exactly with
at least
what Bisan said about back to self-love. It all starts there.
100% self-love. Yeah. And Sergio was president.
Going back to education, we always keep educating ourselves. Education never stops, right? Because the science changes and the discoveries changes, treatment plans changes, and everything. So we need to level our when we say we're experts and then we stop over there, this is when we start failing.
Mm-hmm.
We need to always look for new people who can teach us new things that we're not aware of.
What's the
And
goal?
this is what we do in the hair wire. We're trying to bring all the niches up together, right? This is how we always say. We always say that every person has a different niche. And when we get to a complex like cases, or when we're talking to our audience, we need to bring all the niches together, because one person cannot solve it all.
No, you can't. And you guys, I'm going to reiterate this story. It's another one of my favorite stories is the Henry Ford story. So back when, before cars were a thing, it was all the cart and buggy and the horses.
Mm-hmm.
All the big companies that sold the cart and buggies did not want to move forward and level up and go on with technology and educate themselves, but Ford did. Ford is one of the longest standing vehicle brands out there.
Mm-hmm.
And because he educated himself, he networked, he grew. Take that and sit into that, you guys, because it's not about finding your expertise and not growing and not sharing and not growing and learning and moving with technology. And as technology and education evolve, you got to evolve too. So education, 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 professional or patron.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely, most definitely. Now, I wanted to mention something, guys. You, Brad, you were talking about the fact that everyone can sell shampoo,
Mm-hmm.
yet the connection is what makes a difference. And I'm gonna stay true on that one because I had people come into my clinic, and I would recommend a certain product, and they'd be like, "Oh, I have tried that before," and I'd be like, "Okay, let's do that again. Let's do that again." And if all of a sudden, same product, same product, they did it again. The results were so much different, and it was all because of the care, because of, again, the relationship that we were building, the self-love, and everything. Everything connecting together makes the process go through the right way and go through the way it's supposed to. And sometimes we think, why things are not working. Well, check on your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Why your
So
medication is not working, maybe because of the things that are happening around you. But when you work on around those things, and you get that stuff out of the way, things can flow, things can move through. All right, so
it is
I
chemically
wanted to
proven
post that
that.
one in. Yeah.
It's chemically proven, because when we are in a deep trauma or a deep grief or a deep sadness, our chemical pathways are blocked. So you need to open these chemical pathways to start interacting with people around you, and receive wherever they're giving you, if it was love or it was chemical like a shampoo, or even if it was something that you supplement that you have to take orally. Supplements that you take orally, if you are not, like, if your pathways are not open, it's not going to work. You have to believe in it. You have to meditate on it, sit on it, be grounded with it, so it works.
I mean, it's like when we talk about, for instance, PRP. You want a PRP to work properly, you
uh,
have to prepare the body, prepare that blood, so that you're able to take in that PRP. Otherwise, it's not going to work for you. That's why the rate of success with PRP is so low, because most of the time people are not getting ready to get a PRP treatment. So only if you catch that, and and you work with that client beforehand, and work on the nutrients, making sure that the blood is actually reaching nutrients, then that will actually might have a good benefit for that person. Otherwise, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to. So yeah. Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, Nadia.
I wrote her name wrong.
Yeah,
Now, Brad, you were
but
mentioning a couple of things before we cut you off, because you have a list of things that we want to work with.
oh, I'm on. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, but the
yeah.
same sort of thing is, we're right, when you're getting it from someone, it's once you open up those neural pathways, that, because even if it's a placebo effect, because I may do a
Ooh, yeah.
transaction with them, But the thing is, because it's a transaction, they're just trying to sell me something. This thing probably won't work. So they're already self-talking themselves that it's not going to do any benefit. But then if they go to someone else and they take the time, they do the proper consultation and say, this is what it's going to do for you. They use that product now again. That's why they're getting results, because how they think has changed. And a lot of it's that too. But I think with anything, the biggest word I think for today is self-love, but also relationships. Relationships with your clients and anybody watching who's maybe not a trichologist, but who wants to know more about trichology or more about, what they do, or you're a client of a trichologist. Really dive deep and embrace that trichologist. Embrace their knowledge, embrace their wisdom, embrace the reason that they've trained is to do the best they can for you, with in their toolbox. So everything they learn, as I say, like Basan said before, and as I say, if you're not growing, you're dying. So the more you learn, and we're all evolving every single day because we have to, because it's always changing. But as I say, anybody new, that's your time to kind of get in the learning curve. I encourage you to jump into Hairwire, and just even going to like the board and the groups and the things, and sharing knowledge and doing that stuff that you're not going to find anywhere else,
You
because
guys
it's on a
share your
platform.
ships too, please, because share your events as well, because I think they're so critical in where we are today.
They are, and like we said, we're talking about, as I say, we're talking about self-love, which I think education and being an expert is part of self-love, because you're putting yourself in that you're going to learn the best that you can for the clients that you have. So with that, with some of the events I do, they're cruise events. We'll maybe have some land events. We're doing them all across the globe. It's pretty exciting. Some are trichology based, and some are trichology focused, where it'll be all about trichology, and some other ones will be trichology or hair growth, hair loss kind of inspired, where we'll have some of that as well. We have some great adult only events coming up, and we also have ones that you can bring your whole family as well. But I didn't really come to promote that. You can go to, if you see on my there at Brad, under Brad Beauty Industry Cruises, go on there on IG, kind of follow, and you'll see a lot more. I actually was lucky enough by Carrie to be asked to be on the summit to do a bonus section. So if you want to learn more about business and stuff like that on there, I encourage you to kind of sign up and go and check my more in-depth 31.2 minute. I don't know what it is, but it's a 30+ minute kind of thing that we do. That's a bonus that they have for you, that we've all offered for you to get in there, and just as I say, to go deeper. And that's the great thing with the Hairwire. They do more things than just trichology. They go deeper. Like we're talking about today. Yes, it's Valentine's. Yes, love is in the hair. But look what it inspired. Look how much energy. Look how much spark plugs have been going off, and the topics that have come. But I think that's the base of everything. I think everything has to start from a base of love, and then relationship.
Definitely.
Very true.
Definitely. That is so right on, Brad. Right on, brother. Definitely love that. Brad, we have to say thank you, brother. Thank you for being here with us today. We have an amazing show, guys.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
before, most definitely. So before we go, I want to mention you guys. Please stay connected to the Hairwire. Visit our website, thehairwire.com, and also check out our summit. Our summit's still available. We have only a few weeks left before it's run out, so you still have time to enjoy the Hairwire Summit, and of course the special sessions that we're adding to the last minute. So hey, enjoy it. The ones who already had enjoyed it, have seen the benefits of it. So many good information. Some of the top 20s in the world right now, they are in the Hairwire right now, and the speakers that we have, the quality of information, it's amazing. not only for professionals but also for patrons, because we have a section just for you guys. You're not a hair expert, and definitely you want to get into the heavy science, boring type of stuff, but you want to get something more that digestible for the general public. Yes, we have a section just for you, and we have special classes for you guys so that you can enjoy it and you can learn about how to take care of your hair. Love yourself, love your hair, and love is in the hair, baby.
And you guys, on the hair wire, it's not just hair. There's a section for stress.
Yes.
Little self-care section. Like I said, the lecture from Kim Lyle is next to none to help you with self-reflection and teaching how to be more observant of yourself. We have a tapping expert who helps with tapping and giving you some really good affirmations with tapping. EFT is a new thing, especially with de-stressing. We have a numerologist on there. We have Nadia talking about epigenetics. We have a whole bunch on there. So it's above and beyond hair. It's stress management and self-care and self-love.
Oh yes, definitely. So you got to check that out, guys. You got to visit the Hairwire, visit thehairwire.com. And of course, if you are on YouTube, hit the subscribe button right now. Hit the subscribe and hit the like button. It helps us with the algorithms so more people can watch and rewatch our episodes here at the Hairwire. Brad, have to thank you. Bisan, thank you. Carrie, anything else you guys want to add before we go?
Thank you
No.
so much, Brad, for being with us. You added love to our episode today, and I know we wanted to talk about something different, but I think love is in the hair and in the air, so we couldn't help ourselves except talking 1 hour about love. And it's Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine.
And make sure you guys, Brad has a podcast if you don't follow it already.
Yes.
I'm a cosmetologist and I love it because it gives me different perspective and listening to other people's stories. It's probably one of my favorite podcasts right now. So make sure you chime into that and follow him, and also check out his beauty industry cruises for any of his events that are coming up for the professional.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
thank you
definitely.
guys for having me on. I know we're trying to cut this off, but if I can do a quick plug. So it's called the
Please.
Hairstyles Empowerment Podcast, all about empowerment. As of yesterday, I just hit number 2 on the best Canadian celebrity
Woo!
in
Wow.
hairstylist.
Hey, congratulations.
And number 2 on the top 30 best hair stylist
Wow.
podcast to listen to.
Awesome.
2024.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So you want people
Making it
and
rain,
if
making
pe-
it rain.
Exactly. If people want to be guests, you can be guests. The same, we're always looking for educators and people for the Hairstylist Cruise. So it's www.beautyindustrycruises.com. Check it out there. That's all I'm going to say. And join the Hairwire. You'll be glad you did.
Thank you.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Brad. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week. God bless you all. Bye-bye.